Okay, next drawer, let's see, we're on the right side now. So we have another empty drawer. This is my brake line, brake stuff. So I've got these fittings. These are very useful if you're ever gonna replace a master, slave cylinder, anything. It's like a little kit, it doesn't have the part number on it anymore. It's like a little Dorman kit in the Dorman help aisle. But it has a bunch of these little plastic fittings, rubber hose, so you can put the two fittings on and run the hoses into the reservoir and bench bleed it, so you can get all the air out from inside it. I didn't have one of these for a long time, glad I bought it. And I got a brake line cutting tool, so it's just got like a little cutter. You tighten this, go around, tighten it some more, go around, and eventually cut the brake line. A couple different bending options like this thing. Got this guy, and you've got like a flare, things like that. Most of this stuff I don't really use. It's more stuff I inherited from my granddad. I've got a turkey baster for like changing fluid. In the Corvettes, you kind of have to do it often in the clutch. You got to pull the fluid out and replace it with clean fluid. And it's easier to just kind of like turkey baster it out and in. And let's see, I have a handful of different clutch alignment tools that I don't really ever use because I don't even know. I think two of these are for KA, and then this other one's for something else. I don't know, I never use them. I probably could have used this when I did the Z-Trans on the LS. So yeah, it's kind of random stuff. We've got this drawer, which is just extra sockets that I might actually use on like an extra ratchet, couple of ratchets, and just some random stuff that I might use at some point, but I don't really see using, and a piston ring compressor. So we'll probably put some more oddball stuff like that in here. Okay, now we have my favorite drawer. This is absolutely my favorite drawer. So this is my electric tool drawer. Oh, favorite drawer. So we'll start with, this is gotta be my favorite tool, I think. It's gonna be a hard choice, but so this is the Milwaukee, I gotta find the part number, 2861-20. So I'll put a link for this below. This is my favorite impact I've ever used. It's very light. I'll show you the bigger one. So size comparison here. It's very small. This is like what most of the ones that people use for wheels and stuff are. Very, very big. This thing is small and light, and I've never had something that it wouldn't take off. I leave it on the level 2 power mode most of the time, pretty much all the time. I only put it on 3. I call it kill mode if I need to like pull a crank pulley bolt off or something crazy like that. But I really love this one, especially working on cars. Like if you're working on heavy equipment, there might be stuff it couldn't do, but in my experience, nothing it couldn't do. And it's small, it's lightweight, very easy to deal with, easy to get in tight spots. Then there's this one. Obviously I haven't used it as much. I just recently got this, which I need to start playing with more because it has the one key technology, which what that is, you can connect to it with your phone. You can then set parameters to make it, like if you're running lag screws in, you can make it stop when they're flush, instead of stopping at a certain torque, and you can kind of set it to be within a specific torque range for like torquing down wheels and things like that. So I need to play with that more. I just haven't really had time. I normally just grab for old trusty because I've used this one a ton. I know kind of its limits. I know how tight it gets things and whatnot. But I have used this, and on level 2 out of 4, it ripped the crank pulley bolt off like no problem. So both of these are awesome. Definitely my favorite though. I really love this impact, as you can see by how dirty it is. So then I have this kit. This is something I would suggest for anybody. It's just a drill and driver kit. That's what they're called. They're normally pretty affordable. You can get them as cheap as like $100 or less at like Home Depot and stuff. Different brands, different levels. Just keep in mind that there are different levels of the same brand. Like these are brushless and they've got the newest features and all of that. So these are not the same as the ones that look very similar to this but aren't brushless, maybe have smaller batteries and things like that. Milwaukee's pretty good about not doing that whole like deceive you with super small batteries that you don't notice thing. But I really like these. The chuck on this one's really nice, this drill. It's got like the toolless chuck where you don't have to like spin it. You can it just locks. Plenty powerful enough for everything I do. And this thing is amazing. It's so tiny, you can fit it in so many spots, you can hang it on your belt. I really, really love this one. Because what I'm doing with one of these, most of the time, since I have real full-size impacts, this is like zipping valve covers off, or you know, just stuff that I'm speeding up with, like M10, M12 stuff, you know, tightening things on. I can set it all the way down to 1, where it probably torques it to like 5 foot-pounds, something like that. Very, very minimal amount, just enough to where it's flush. So this is like my time saver tool. That's what I consider it. I use it a lot too. Probably, I use it more than the bigger impacts, but I just love the bigger impact because changing wheels sucks without one. So I got a handful of extra batteries and stuff. These are the 5 amp hour red lithiums. Same thing with the spare M12. That's a nice thing. So this segues me into a point I want to make. So I'm obviously brand loyal to Milwaukee, especially because they help me out. They're an awesome company and they've done a lot for me, and I really like their tools and I've had nothing but good luck with their tools. But in general, when you look to buy your first electric tools, this is something I want you to keep in mind, something I never thought about until just recently. Try to find a brand that has all the things that you want and stick with that brand. Because what happens is, if you buy, okay, well, this impact is $10 cheaper and it's got 10 more foot-pounds. These are trivial differences, but you'll you know, okay, I'm gonna buy the Makita impact with the DeWalt drill and the Milwaukee electric ratchet. What happens is you end up having a bunch of different chargers, because you got one for each one. You've got a bunch of different batteries that you have to charge all separately. And then, you know, you only have the batteries for those pieces. So then you need, let's say you want to buy this Milwaukee tire inflator. Let's say you want to buy this, right? Well, now you got to buy the whole kit because you need more batteries, because you only have the battery for your little electric ratchet. You need to use those for that. So you need to get batteries for this. A nice thing about buying within one tool family is that everything crosses over. So since I have so many different Milwaukee tools, you know, generally each of them come with 2 batteries. So that brings it to a point where I have all of these extra batteries to not only swap out if I kill the other ones, you know, while I'm working, but, you know, like I bought this Sawzall and I just bought the tool. I didn't need to buy batteries or the kit or the charger because I already had the batteries and I already had the charger. So I just bought the tool and I have enough to where I can just leave this one in it. So my opinion is just look over and find the tool company that suits your needs the most. That's what drew me to Milwaukee back in the beginning, because I feel like out of the major electric, well, just tool brands in general, they seem to, in my opinion, cater the most towards automotive. You know, like there's no other tool brand at Home Depot that has an electric ratchet. This is for car people. This is 100% for mechanics. And you'll notice that people, no matter what their loyalty is, most people have a Milwaukee electric ratchet if they have one. So there's not really many people that make it. So of the big names, the big brands that make tons of different tools, Milwaukee is, you know, I feel like they're really catered towards the car audience. They're constantly coming out with new stuff like this tire inflator, and just all sorts of neat stuff. Then another nice thing too, I don't know how this compares with other brands, but Milwaukee has like 2 battery types. They have M18 and M12. Or yeah, I was like, wait, those are bolt sizes. So like this charger, the standard charger you get comes with a spot for M18, M12. And that's it. Every one of their tools runs on, every one of their cordless tools runs on one of those batteries, either an M12 or an M18. So if you have both of those batteries, you can buy any of their tools and you have the batteries for it. So I've obviously gone extreme. I mean, I've had this like little impact kit. These are nice if you have a drill driver. I almost didn't talk about this. You can buy these kits. There's all sorts of different like configurations. I had this one for when I was working construction, but you've got all sorts of bits and stuff. You got a place to keep them. Like this one has a couple sockets in it. These are super useful. I've had this for like 6 years and I use it a lot when I'm like, oh, I need to drill a screw into the wall in my room or do this or do that. You know, I just swap it onto the little nut runner guy. I normally just leave a socket one on this because that's what I use most of the time. But yeah, that's my opinion on electric tools. I have some more fun stuff by Milwaukee. Oh man, yeah, okay. So I guess we'll segue into lights now because we're done with the actual toolbox store. So we'll segue into lights. Lights are crucial if you're like me and you work a full-time job and you got to work on your cars at some point and you work on them at night like me. Otherwise you just have the weekends. Me and Fed were talking about this. I was so opposed to these headlamps because all the ones I'd used have been like super crappy, like throwaway ones that like came with the crappy AAA batteries, and they just weren't very bright. They're very focused spot, and they just were virtually useless. This is amazing. I use this all the time now when I'm underneath the car. I mean, you probably can't see how bright it is now, but what's nice about it is obviously it's on your head, so you can adjust this where it angles. So you angle it wherever you're kind of looking, and then wherever you move your head, wherever you're looking, you've got light without having to hold it. And it's like really difficult sometimes to set up a light in a spot where you're covering everything you need and you're not blinding yourself. One more light. This is the Milwaukee Underhill light. See, like I said, M12 battery. They all use the same stuff, which is really neat. But this thing's cool. A lot of times I just take it off of this. This is what clips under your hood, and use this for like setting up camp at drift events and things like that. I've come to love this light. And then it like clips under your hood. It's like sprung. Oh, that's a magnetic bolt track. But I normally put it sometimes like in the car. I'll put it between like on the roof, like hooked onto the roof, and that's really nice to have a lot of light inside the car when you're working. What else up here? This is something else that's really nice. I got these from work. I learned about them at work. My hand's dirty now to deal with all my dirty tools. They're called scrubs in a bucket, I guess. I think there's more than one brand of these. Hold on. But they have like a really abrasive side, like this. Put some more light on it. So that's the abrasive side, and then they have a smooth side like this. You can tell. What's nice about this is when you're cleaning your hands, you often can't tell where the dirt is when it's covered in like Gojo and water, so you end up washing like 3 times. This, you can just scrub off the needed parts. I absolutely love these whites. I know that they get them at Uline, and I just buy them from work, but I'm sure there's other companies that make them, but these seem to work really, really well. I really love these. It's a lot better than, you know, like especially like you stop working on something for a second and you want to go on your phone and text, you know, and you don't want to go in and wash your whole hands and arm off. You can just grab one of these and just knock dirt off. But honestly, you can get pretty much everything off with these. Super useful. So I think I can open the garage again and we'll cover like other shop tool garage necessities. All right, real quick, we're gonna go over my drift event / road trip backpack. So when I go to drift events, I take this with me not only to work on the car, you know, if I need to, which I pretty much always need to, no matter what car it is, but also like if the truck breaks down and I have an issue with it. So we'll start on the inside. So this is one of those things that's kind of gotten, I wouldn't say perfected, but better over time. You know, when I first started bringing this bag, well, it wasn't this bag, which this is a Milwaukee bag. I'll link to this below. I got this probably, man, it's probably like half a year ago now. I love it compared to, I was using this old BMX backpack that obviously wasn't designed for it, but this thing has like a hard shell bottom so you don't have tools sticking through. It's got a very solid back so you don't get poked by tools, and it's got all these little compartments for tools. It folds pretty much all the way open. Very, very handy. I prefer a bag, like a backpack, which is why I've been using a backpack for like 10 years now, over a box. So it's a lot easier to deal with. Like if I go to the junkyard, I can just throw it on my back. Granted, it's heavy, but it's better than trying to carry around a box. That's my opinion. Everyone has their preferences. A box might make more sense. But for now, I'm still sticking with the backpack idea. So anyway, this has matured over time. Been doing it for a long time, and you'll learn as you go kind of like what to bring and what not to bring. For a while, you know, it's like, oh man, I'm always bringing, let's say this impact, for example, but I never need to use it. So you'll switch it out for something else. You'll say, okay, well, I can take this out so that I can kind of add this, because you want to kind of keep it as bare bones as possible because it's heavy and it adds a lot of weight, and especially like junkyarding and things like that. So I try to keep it simple and just basically, if I don't have what I need in here to fix the problem, I'm probably not going to be able to fix it. You know, it's probably going to be something that like is not fixable anyway. Like I'm not, you know, I don't have the right set of extensions and a swivel to get the power steering pump off. Well, I probably don't have a power steering pump. So that's kind of my mentality. So we got wire strippers. These are really crappy, like rusted ones. We've got channel locks. I have this tool that I've actually never used. It's like a combination wrench. So you've got a bunch of different sizes, but I figured it's a lot of tools in a small package. Got a couple of ratchets. Oh, that's a magnet. Got one that's okay, one that really sucks over here. Got an extension here, 1/2 inch to 3/8. I got spanner wrenches. I need to take these out actually. These are for the teens that were on the Z, which I don't have anymore. Place that with these. So we got some screwdrivers, got a Phillips and flathead. You know, we got a couple of each, a couple flatheads, Phillips head, pair of needle nose, cutting dikes, needle nose vice grips, Allen's, regular pliers. We have like a socket strip of both. I need to take these and put these back. These go in my toolbox. I've got a socket strip up to 19 of both wall, like short and deep well sockets. The deep well ones always like fall apart, and I'm missing a lot of them now. So I need to address that and figure that out. Because a lot of times I need a socket and I go to pull it out and like they're all missing. They're all like falling out. But sometimes I still have to add stuff. What I've been trying to do is as I upgrade my tools, it's kind of like an excuse to upgrade my tools. I'm like, oh man, you know, I really want to, like I wanted to upgrade my little impacts. So now I keep my old impact in here. So that's just kind of the way I've done it. It's just as time's gone on, as I feel the need or have the desire to upgrade a tool, I generally take the other tool and put it in here. That way, before I used to always just fill this up before every drift event and put it back in my toolbox whenever I was done. But now it's pretty self-sustainable. Sometimes I have to take some extra stuff depending on what I know I might be dealing with. So I've got my little flashlight that takes the 18650 battery. I should probably put that battery in here too. Would that make sense? Razor knife. And then in here, this is like kind of consumable area. We've got wrenches just because these always want to fall out. We've got self-tappers. We've got a spare relay, which we can wire in. We've got some wiring to wire it in, some connectors, some electrical tape, more wire strippers. I guess I don't need those. Spare lug nuts for the trailer. I've got spare lug nuts for the car. I've got zip ties. So it's kind of like everything I can think of. And again, it's one of those where you'll have this bag full and then you'll get to the drift event and the one tool you need you don't have. So I've tried to remedy that and try to have everything that I need. Doesn't always work out that way though. So now on to like other tools of the garage. So we've got, God, this is one I almost forgot. I was gonna skip right over it. Two of these two hammers. This is a mini sledge. Mini sledge is like the most useful hammer ever. I don't ever use any other hammer pretty much but a mini sledge. Mini sledges are amazing. You sit there with a little hammer, tap, 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 whacking as hard as you can, and you will get like nowhere sometimes. You take one of these, couple good whacks, and you will get the job done. Like, including destroying your power steering pump, according to the internet. So I've had this Cobalt one for, man, again, this is one of those I got when I was like 16, one of my first starting out tools. And it's been great. It's got the crap beat out of it. It's coming apart, but it's been a good hammer and something with a good grip. I would avoid a wood handle one. The wood handle ones seem to often, I've seen them fly off and like break. So, and then this is a dead blow. This is good for stuff you can't damage, like if you don't want to mess up threads or something. It's plastic and then it has these beads in it, so when you hit, it does gravity physics stuff. To me, that's a much better option than a rubber mallet. I feel like rubber mallets can't, I've never been able to have any success. If I need to hammer something, a rubber mallet is not going to do the job in most cases for me. Okay, moving on. Oh, also the toolbox itself, something I almost completely forgot to mention. This is a pretty recent addition to Milwaukee's toolboxes. One of the things I really like about it is the top is as deep as the bottom, so you get a lot more room. Like, these drawers are huge. They're super smooth. They have this soft close feature like you would on like an IKEA cabinet. So you close them and they come with the rubber like insert liners for every single drawer, the top, you know, even in here you got like the Milwaukee scribed in it. I feel like it's a really nice toolbox. What I said when I first got this toolbox, go to Home Depot yourself. I did, just to look and see, kind of compare what the other options were like, and you'll be able to tell for yourself whether you think this one's the best choice for you or not. But when you get your hands on this compared to some other ones, you'll see. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But definitely really like this box. So, other important things. Jacks, very important. You don't need two like this. I thought I could get away with just using an aluminum jack because I have the quick jack, which I'll show you in a minute. But this thing sucks. Like, I don't even take it to drift events because when you jack it up, it flexes so much right here that if it's at any sort of angle at all, it'll start to flex and want to topple over. It just sketches me out. So I just take the big one, the drift events. This is your typical Harbor Freight one. This is like the one everybody has. It's super lower pro than a lot of the nicer ones. And it works really well. The Harbor Freight jacks have outlasted many of the other jacks I had. I had one for like 6 years. without any issue. I actually gave it to my friend. Kind of a mess down here, but jack stands are important, but not so important because I have this amazing invention. This is called a quick jack. So it's got these hydraulic lines, and then it's got dry lock fittings for longer lines. Just go to this little pump that's buried under there, and I don't feel like getting it out. But you have a little control on the pump, up, down, and these, you slide them under the car. You have this little rubber box, raise the vehicle up or down. When I first got these, I was like, these are cool. They'll be good for like long-term projects, but they might be too much of a hassle for like day-to-day stuff. Now I don't use anything else but these. If I'm gonna do anything under the car, unless it's like changing tires only, even in alignment, whatever, I use this because it's so useful, especially when you like put it back down and then you're like, oh wait, I have an exhaust leak, and you need to put it back up. Just super handy. I really like these. They're a little on the pricier side, but definitely, like, if you're confined to a garage, it's kind of the best, closest thing you can get to a lift, and I like them a lot, especially putting the motor in the Miata. Crucial. What else do we got? So this is my welder setup. I am like not a pro welder by any means. I started welding when I got this welder. Ow, just stabbed myself. But a lot of people ask about this welder. So this is a Harbor Freight Omni Pro 220, also not sponsored, not at all. They did. I bought this with my own money. It was on sale. The quick jacks were sponsored. They were nice enough to send me those, but this I paid for myself. So it's a multi-process. It's MIG, TIG, and stick welder. I have it set up for a TIG right now, but I have a bottle for each. So I have straight argon and C25, so I can do MIG or TIG. I keep a MIG roll in it. I didn't know that, like, the main reason I got the multi-process is $100 more than like the dual voltage MIG, because this will run on 120 and 220 volts, and it's hard for me to get to our 220 volts. So I honestly have always run it off 110, and that does most everything I need to do, or have needed to do so far. But it's really nice to be able to easily switch back between MIG and TIG. I can just take this off, hook this back here, and then switch the ground over to here. Actually, yeah, this goes here, ground goes over there, and switch the gas line, and I'm back in process. If I had another regulator, I could just keep both gases hooked up all the time, because the argon goes through the torch. And I have this CK Super Flex hose TIG torch. This was a good buy. It's got a flex head. I mean, I don't know much about TIG torches. I haven't had enough experience with them, but I really like this one. And the hose, having the flexibleness, very nice. Then, you know, just MIG gloves, TIG gloves, helmet. If you're gonna start welding, buy a nice helmet. Not that much more. I mean, it's like $50 for a cheap one. This was like, these are down to like 70, $78 last time I looked on Amazon for the straight black one. This one's like $100. Very awesome helmet. It's very like flexible. It's like this nice strong material. There's enough room for people like me who wear glasses for it to go down without hitting my glasses. It just hit my glasses because I had it crooked. But it goes down, doesn't hit my glasses. It's got like a grind mode and sensitivity and all your normal stuff. The big thing too is the big viewing area. This is a lot bigger than most of the cheap ones. And it's very helpful. And the fact that one thing that the AVE did a video on this, one thing that the cheap helmets get wrong is that before they darken, they're very tinted. They're not very transparent. So when you go to start the weld, and even when you're welding, sometimes they're even darker then too. You can brighten that one up. So my problem is when I use those helmets when I'm welding, I can kind of see the puddle, but I can't really see the two pieces of metal and what I'm doing, where I'm at. Whereas that one, I can set it to where I can see clearly exactly what I'm welding. And in that video, AVE shows that they block, even when they're not dim, they block all the harmful light. They're just not blocking the visible light. They dim to block the visible light. So anyway, take that as you may, do more research, but having a nice welding helmet, it will probably improve your welding more than a nice welder would. For sure, more than a nice welder would. I mean, assuming MIG and MIG. We're not going to get into that, not a professional welder. Wow, I think we're almost wrapped up. This is probably like an hour-long video, isn't it? Other general garage stuff, I've got fluids. I try to kind of stockpile them. You know, like if I go to Walmart and I'm buying like an oil change, so I'm buying like Mobil 1 1550 because it has zinc in it, I'll buy like 2 jugs of it. That way I have some if I need it or running low. And I've got, you know, brake clean I generally have on standby, some paint, brake fluid, trans fluid, gear oil. I try to have a little bit of that stuff because, you know, nothing kills productivity more than having to go to the parts store for something trivial. So I try to kind of stock up on a little bit of extra. I feel like I'm gonna forget so many things. Oh, no, one more thing. Well, this might not be one more thing. Well, one more thing of one more thing. Engine hoist, obviously very important if you plan on pulling the motor out of the car. At least like one of your friends needs to have an engine hoist. Crucial. Engine stand, same concept. Generally, like I have this one. If someone needs it, I can go and borrow it. I'm not using it most of the time. It's one of those tools that takes a lot of space, doesn't get used very often. This is a drip pan. You put this on, I'm not gonna pull it out. You put this on the engine stand and it leaks and drips. It drips into this pan. Oh my God, I wish I had one of those a long time ago because it is very, very handy because there's always fluid still coming out no matter what. Over here I have my mist stuff, so let's start up here. Found this on the side of the road. So we've got like some parts, like car parts, fuel rails up there. We've got wiring stuff. We've got tape, Teflon tape, electrical tape, zip ties. Then we've got these I picked up from Harbor Freight for the same reason as before, just not having to go to the store for dumb stuff. So we've got snap rings. We've got, I had to buy 3 boxes because I didn't know which ones I would need. So we got a bunch of snap rings. We got like Y and reduction fittings for like vacuum tees. We got copper washers for like oil plug stuff, and then some random bolts. And then we've got, you know, screws, tech screws, grinder, flap wheels, grease, RTV, just kind of like stuff like that. This is like all consumables, this whole area really for me. We've got bolt drawer, very important. I save all my leftover bolts. Very useful to have. I rarely have to go to the parts store or the hardware store to buy bolts unless it's some super weird size or I need a bunch of them. Like if I need 8, I'm not going to usually find 8 of the same bolt in here. But I have plenty to dig through, and usually in a pinch I can find what I need, which is awesome. I rarely have to buy bolts. Down here we have like extra screwdrivers in here, just crappy flatheads that I don't use. This is like vacuum hoses and clamps and random hardware. This is electrical, and this is like junk drawer. Well, this is like good junk, you know, like I have the pintle thing for my bulletproof hitch and like extra bars and just stuff like that. And down here is like other parts, like soon to be used parts usually. And that's pretty much it. This is all kind of like consumables, just stuff that I use and go through and whatever that's like not tools. So I like having this as its own thing because I can keep that kind of stuff organized-ish, you know, without having it in my way, without having it like in buckets or just thrown all over the place. One more honorable mentions. Have this quick trick alignment set up. So these like kind of hook onto the wheel, and you have tape measures so you can do toe, and then a little camber gauge, and then turn plates, which are over there to check caster. Pegboard, if you have one or can get one, definitely awesome. I had almost all my stuff that I use on a day-to-day basis up here for a while, and then I got a nice toolbox. I wanted to put it all in there, but I really like having this, especially like, you know, I'm working here, I need a screwdriver, just grab it. I don't know why there's so much metal shavings on this one. Oh, from cleaning these manifolds off. You know, grinder disc, flap wheels, tool drill bits, zip ties, safety glasses, like all like random stuff that I'm gonna grab and just grab and put back, like speed square. I have all that kind of stuff here. These are just broken suspension stuff. I don't know why I have it up there, I just do. And that's not a permanent home for this either. It looks stupid up there, but I just put it there and I haven't moved it. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I know it was long-winded, but it's been asked about for a long time. Real quick, top 5 tools. I would absolutely say number 1, if you're drifting, the medium impact I showed you, the 2860-120, maybe, does that sound right? That, if you're not drifting, you're not changing tires a lot, then absolutely the drill driver set. Those two, that like combo, because you will use that for so much stuff. I mean, that might still trump out the medium impact. So let's say that drill driver set, medium impact, electric ratchet. Man, these are all like really close ties. Electric ratchet is crucial. So that'd be number 3. Number 4 definitely be ratcheting wrenches. Huge, love ratcheting wrenches. And then what's number 5? Those are the main ones for me. Those are like the real important ones for me. Nipex Cobra pliers. Absolutely, number 5. Awesome tool, very, very useful. Those would be my top 5. Another suggestion I could make when buying new tools, the big giant like 300-piece toolkit. A lot of the time, you don't need like 60% of that stuff. It's like 40% stuff you actually need. And if you consider the cost of you're just buying that 40% of the stuff you're actually going to use, you can generally buy nicer stuff, you know, like a nice wrench set, nice socket set, and whatever. Go for quality with tools, don't go for quantity. I have literally there's like 2 or 3 drawers in bed Toolbox of just extra sockets and extra wrenches that I have no use for because I'm never going to use them. I have like some wrenches, I have like 5 of the same ones, you know, because I needed it, couldn't find it, went and bought a set kind of thing. So that would be my opinion, quality over quantity for sure when it comes to tools. Electric tools, invest in one company if you're going to, try to. You know, figure out which one suits you best and your needs best and has the tools that you're going to want to use. You know, maybe the price points that you're looking for and has like good compatibility between batteries. Stick with that. Save you money, save you room, save you time in the long run. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. We finally did it. We finally did the tool check. I'm so excited. Sorry if it got droning or boring, but we're here and we finished. So let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what your favorite tools are. What do you have in your toolbox? What I missed, you know, if there's something I missed, I'll try to note it because I'm sure there's a really important tool that I missed. But yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Adios.